Hey everybody! I have a layout for you today featuring one of Allison Davis's hexagon sketches. This is going to be sketch number 9. I'm going to be using some stash and some new products all together. So I have some of my very favorite white cardstock. I have a sheet of colored cardstock, and I also have a sheet of pattern paper from Simple Stories Harvest Market Collection. I also have the 6x8 paper pad from that Harvest Market Collection. And then I have a set of wood veneer and an acrylic word fall that we're going to use. We're going to use that whole kit for our title and for some extra embellishments. I'm going to create my layout on this white cardstock, and then I have a brand new to me stamp and die bundle from Waffle Flower. I purchased this stamp and die bundle because I thought it would be beautiful to use year after year. I can make these fall leaves any color I want. I can play with them. I also went ahead and color matched a whole bunch of inks from my stash, and I color matched these inks to the Simple Stories Harvest Market Collection. So we have some newer products, we have some older products, and we are going to mix them all together, starting with those Waffle Flower stamps. So let's talk about these stamps. These were what I like to call a responsible purchase. So I do love fall. It is one of my favorite seasons. And this leaf set has a whole bunch of leaves. So you just have the solid background stamp and then the part that goes on top. So super easy to stamp, right? You can make this any color. You wouldn't have to make these leaves fall leaves. You could make them spring leaves or summer leaves. And then you have a whole bunch of beautiful leaves that you can stamp in shades of green or shades of orange and pink, which is what we are going to do today. You can see here that for these leaves, I'm adding more than one color. So I'm taking 2 of the colors that I chose that match this collection. And I am going ahead inking the 2 colors up, and then if there's a line, which you can see, then I am using my small blending brush to kind of blend that line away, or kind of allow those 2 ink colors to kind of mix together and fade in. You can kind of see here how I am doing this using my little blending brush just to smooth out anywhere that there might be a stark line or a stark edge. Once I have all of these leaves cut, and you can see I cut loads and loads of them, I'm going to take some Chroma Mist from Brutus Monroe and some Vintage Mist from Brutus Monroe, and I'm going to splatter all over these leaves with those Chroma Mist and Vintage Mist colors. If you're interested in any of the colors that I'm using or any of the stamp ink colors that I'm using, in the description box below, I will list all of those things out. I will also list the sketch bundle I am using for this project. I love these shape sketch bundles from Allison Davis. Once I finish the hexagons, there's one more hexagon sketch, and then I have the circles and the triangles to do. I'm just going to keep moving along and doing them because they are some of my very, very favorite projects. I am switching out the design of this sketch in a couple of different ways, keeping the main idea behind the sketch, but definitely adding my own twist to it. I started by cutting my colored cardstock and my pattern paper into 2 nesting hexagons. One is smaller than the other. I just set these up in my Silhouette studio, and I am going to start with all these leaves. In addition to die cutting these leaves with the coordinating dies, I also took my fingers and kind of crinkled them up a little bit just to give them some extra dimension. So this isn't a ton of dimension. I'm not using like big thick foam tape or anything on the backs of them. I am just kind of roughing them up a little bit, and then I'm only gluing them on the very ends of the leaves. So I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive glue because it's the strongest glue that I have. I am going to just glue the very top of those leaves and then hold it down just a little bit, just till that glue catches, and then move on to the next leaf. The end game on my leaves is to fill the bottom half of this hexagon with the leaves. I don't want them in straight rows, but I don't want them flat against the hexagon. So you'll see I'm kind of following a line on my pattern paper to get right across the middle fairly straight. Although I am going to add a little strip of pattern paper just to kind of finish the bottom off. So I really loved making these leaves. It was so much fun, and I cannot wait to use the stamp and die set again. I don't have in my stash anything like this stamp set, so I don't have anything that's just a really nice solid leaf that I can add color to and stamp in any color I want, and then have the pretty veins. This leaf is really easy to stamp. It's not the only leaf stamp I have. I do have some others, but a lot of the other ones are very stylized or very distressed. And this one just seemed really versatile and really usable, like incredibly usable to me for any kind of seasonal paper crafting. And I absolutely love to make flowers, and I love flowers with foliage. So having this like these smaller leaves, or these more rounded leaves that I can stamp in different shades of green, or even just kind of like watercolor them in green, and then add the little veins and pair them with any kind of flowers from my, I admit, quite large floral stash. That's awesome. That's perfect. I love it. So I'm super duper happy with this stamp set, and it is pretty awesome. And that's why I say this responsibly purchased stamp set, because I really have been trying so hard to really think through my scrapbooking purchases. And I was very proud of myself that I kind of made decisions and didn't buy certain things, and was a little bit more smart. I've been really trying to be smarter about purchasing. So I'm going to fill up the bottom half of this hexagon, and then I am going to come in with some of the wood veneer. So this wood veneer set is from Color Cast Designs. If you have never purchased anything from Color Cast Designs, I will link them up in the description box. I love their acrylic titles, and I especially adore their wood veneer. I think I buy every pack of wood veneer Jessica releases. A lot of her wood veneer is designed by Ashley Horton, another amazing designer that I love. So I always enjoy getting her products, and these types of wood veneer and acrylic pieces are perfect for mixing and matching in with your stash. I am super happy about this because I did not have to stamp any more leaves. I was able to I used every one of the leaves that I stamped, and there are no gappy places. I was so happy. There are no gappy places. It rocked. It was awesome. So right now I'm kind of going through my scraps here because I just want a wee little trim to go across the top of those leaves just to kind of finish them off. If you are someone who sews on your scrapbook pages, this would be a perfect opportunity to add a bit of stitching. I do not sew on my scrapbook pages, but I do think it would look really cool if you did. I'm also going to grab that pretty plaid paper. That plaid paper is probably my favorite from the entire Harvest Market collection. Like, it is my favorite. I absolutely love it. I'm going to just cut a couple of 1/2-inch strips from this multicolored leaf paper. I don't have a full-size 12-inch scrap and I didn't want to cut into a new sheet of paper for these little trims. So I'm just going to fudge them a little bit. I know my photos will cover up the seam, or if there's a little bit of a gap there, so I'm not too concerned about it. All of my layers except for the leaves are getting inked up with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I did initially think that I would like to ink the edges of the die cut leaves as well, but the first one I did, it looked awful. It just made them look dirty, so then I said no, never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and map my photos. So the photos I am scrapbooking today are some of the pretty fall leaf photos that I brought home from vacation. If you watched my video on Monday, I kind of spelled out what lines I was using for which aspects of my recent vacation. I didn't buy a whole lot of new lines. I shopped my stash for as much as I could use, and so all of the fall and leaf peeping and kind of like pretty landscapes that we saw while we were on vacation, I'm going to go ahead and scrapbook using this Simple Stories Harvest Market collection. Probably that will kind of use up or kill that collection. I am trying hard, being the operative word, to kind of shop my stash for these travel pictures. Some are going to be easy, some are going to be hard, and I haven't figured it out yet, but that's okay. I've also kind of given up on adding these pages to just my normal family album. We're going to do a step out album because, let's face it, I was on vacation for 10 days and I saw amazing things I took pictures of, and I saw adorable, like, beautiful scenes, and it's, you know, it was kind of a big trip, and it was also a trip that we probably won't ever do a big trip like that again, or if we do, it'll be a really long time from now. So I really decided that it would be totally fine to go ahead and do a separate travel album. The last travel album that I completed, which would be the last time we went for any kind of significant traveling, would have been in 2015. So yeah, if I have to do a travel album every 8 years, I think I'm all right. So what I'm doing now is I'm just figuring out where I want these wood veneer pieces to be. There is a lot going on at the bottom of this page, and I don't want the page to be too busy. So I'm not going to pull in a lot of other embellishments. I've pretty much created all those leaves across the bottom, and then I'm going to keep kind of the embellishments simple with just the wood veneer and the white letters, simply because that will just offset and balance out all the color and all the sparkle that's going on down in the bottom part of this layout. I am adhering my acrylic down with just my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, but another really great thing to use is some Tiara tape. If you have some longer or chunkier pieces of acrylic, the dry Tiara tape adhesive is another really great adhesive to use. I used my wet glue because I wanted some wiggle room. You can see me because the wet glue isn't going to dry right away. It's not going to be immediately stuck. I can kind of wiggle these letters into place and get them nice and straight. I am not in fact, going to create a hexagon shaped layout. I'm going to put that big hexagon onto a sheet of white cardstock, which will again kind of break up the busyness, having just a nice white cardstock. You could do a colored cardstock, you could do a tone-on-tone pattern paper, but since I had that nice white title, I felt like the white was actually a really good base for all this beautiful fall color. You can also see that I have some sequins here. This is an older mix from Spiegelmom Scrap. It is the Hummingbird mix. I am trying to use up some of my older stash sequins before the new ones come out. There are new December sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps. I actually designed two of the new mixes. They're gorgeous. But let's use up our stash first, right? We got to use it. It's got to get used. They're too beautiful not to use. Unfortunately, my Kikoyo, or not Kikoyo, it's not a jewel picker. Crystal katana, that's what it's called. My crystal katana grew legs and walked away off my craft desk again. I swear, it's trying to run away and elope with my scissors. And it's a problem. Anyway, the crystal katana had disappeared. So I'm using my fingers, and by using my fingers, I was reminded in a big, big way why I have a crystal katana. Once my sequins were all glued down, I'm going to cover up my photos. Just looking for a piece of scrap paper that will do the job nicely. And I'm going to add a little bit of splatter to that white background. I don't want the background to be super stark. And since I do have a lot of beautiful shimmery sparkle on my leaves, I'm going to add just a touch of beautiful shimmery sparkle in a diagonal line from the top left to the bottom right, using another one of the Chroma Mists. So this is one of the ones I used on the actual leaves, and the name of it is Sunrise, and you guys, it is gorgeous. If you have any fall projects you are still working on, you might want to grab some of this. It's like the perfect, gorgeous fall shimmer. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this beautiful fall project. And if you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you liked this video, I would love it if you hit that like button and maybe the subscribe button. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye.